Thank you. So you all have gotten a chance to meet the reporting team behind Devex CheckUp, which is our global health newsletter and really our global health coverage. In addition to leading a lot of these conversations here today and yesterday, they've also been all over Geneva covering what's happening around the World Health Assembly. Make sure you are subscribed to those newsletters so that you can get some of the special edition ones we're having come out next week that will be reporting a lot of the findings. But right now you'll get a nice opportunity to check in with the checkup team, maybe even get a chance to ask them questions, hear what they're seeing this week.
Fantastic, thank you. I hardly ever get an opportunity to be on stage with both of you, so this is nice. Just to introduce a little bit about our reporting, as Kate has mentioned, we're the Devex Check Up team. We do the global health coverage at Devex, and one thing I want to highlight is Jenny's reporting. Jenny has been covering the pandemic treaty since negotiations started. I think it's been 2 years now. And for me, I refer to her as my pandemic treaty whisperer. She's explained so many things to me and so many intricacies to me. And every second when something changes, I'm like, what does this mean? What's happening? And she always seems to have the answer for me. So I want to start with you, Jenny. Were you surprised with negotiations breaking down? And can you take us through where we stand now and what it is you're hearing from sources now that you're on the ground?
So on your thank you so much, Rumbi. On your first question, no. Going to the last week of the negotiations before the World Health Assembly, there was really not a lot of optimism. There were deep divisions. Countries could not agree on really several key issues. I know they're saying there were some progress, but still there are key issues that they could not agree on. And now this week, going here, it was like, okay, what's going to happen to this treaty? And yesterday we got a bit of an answer. Member states agreed to create a drafting group, which would then, discuss what are the next steps. How long will the negotiations continue? There are still divergent views on this. Some want it to be 1 year. Some want to wrap this up within the year. So there's still diverging views on that. So this week is critical in the sense that we'll know what are the next steps, but we're not seeing an agreement happening this week.
And she kept saying this to me, but I was holding out hope. I was one of those naive people who's like, something's going to come out of the hat. And yeah, she's been telling me this for a while. But I know that the treaty has been on the headlines but there's so much more happening at WHA. So Sarah, I just want to check in with you. What have you been following?
I think another piece of important news. I think another piece of important news that came out this week was the launching of WHO's investment round. So WHO launched an investment round for $11 billion, and that will be for 4 years of its operations starting next year. And it's a new approach for WHO. They haven't kind of bundled their fundraising in a 4-period block like this before. And why they're doing this is the agency has really suffered from having flexible and dependable funding. And that has manifested itself in ways like the instability of staff contracts. So Director General Tedros spoke on Sunday evening in the launch of the investment round about how a huge percentage of their staff is on short-term contracts. Funding is also earmarked towards specific projects and specific geographic regions, and that's been very problematic for the agency in terms of its ability to be nimble and kind of be this leading authority that would be the coordinating body in a crisis like a pandemic. So the agency is trying to get that 4-year stretch of funding and working with donors to try to create a less earmarked funding and more flexible funding. So that's been a big development this week as well.
That's really interesting, and unfortunately, we've run out of time. I know that's really strange, but all this is included in this week's edition of Devex Checkup. Jenny's also following the pandemic fund. She wanted to speak on that, but everything is included in this week's edition of Devex Checkup, so please sign up.